Welcome back to another episode of Say What Needs to Be Said. I'm your host, Asante, Mr. Pick Six Samuel, two-time Super Bowl champion, Pro Bowler, all-pro record-breaking cornerback, and the last cornerback to intercept 50 interceptions during the 16-game season era. Free agency here. Free agency is here, baby. Monday Night Vibes, man. How y'all doing out there, man? We have a lot to discuss. There's a lot going on, and which teams, man, made the big splash in free agency, man, to make their team a better team? What teams needed certain players that were available? How much talent was available or is available in free agency? And shout out to AJ, man, Asante Samuel Jr., man. Y'all don't know, man. Pittsburgh Steelers, man, they signed Asante Samuel Jr. back for another year, man. 1-year deal, man, and he can go there and prove himself and, man, eventually get signed to a long-term deal, man. Free agency is here, baby, man. How are we doing out there tonight, man? Y'all come on in, man. Logan Paul, he called football players out, and now he's backpedaling from calling football players out. You know what? I was looking at Logan Paul, man, and he thought that he articulated what he said directly and correctly, where he excluded certain players or only a certain type of player with a certain status would take him up on his challenge, you know. And I think he read the room wrong on that on that tip right there. You know what I mean? Because he didn't understand what he got himself into. Boy, there's a lot of us out there that can box, been boxing for a while. But man, shout out to the Miami Dolphins, Malik Willis, man. Miami Dolphins hit the jackpot. Y'all all know. Y'all been rocking with Say What Needs to Be Said. I was a big supporter of the Miami Dolphins signing Malik Willis, man. And they went out there and did it, man. Malik Willis is now with the Miami Dolphins. And I can't be more happy. Now I can finally root for the Miami Dolphins and hope some success comes with the South Florida team, the team that everybody loves in South Florida, man. Malik Willis, man. You know, one thing about him, this is quarterback, he's untapped. His talent isn't really proven or isn't unproven, you know. But I think it was the perfect decision for the Miami Dolphins and a new head coach to sign Malik Willis and start his team fresh with a new quarterback who has some talent. He has a lot of potential and untapped abilities that we haven't been able to see much because he hasn't played that much, you know. But for the short period of time that he was at the Packers this past season, you know, he went 30 for 35. And, man, you know, he put on a pretty good show. 85% completion, 85% completion percentage. And, man, yeah, he put on a good show. He made his way to the money. That's what it is. That's what it's about at the end of the day. Get to the money, man. He got to the money. And, yeah, he's doing his thing, man. And, yeah, you got Mike Evans. Mike Evans to San Francisco 49ers. That's a big move right there. And I know San Francisco 49ers are looking to build that offense up, man, for Brock Purdy, getting some targets, man. But I think I don't know if it was Malik Willis. If the team that's trying to win right now is obviously the Kansas City Chiefs, you know. They are a much more dangerous team now that they signed Kenneth Walker III from the Seahawks. And I can't understand I can't understand why the Seahawks or what the Seahawks thought process was not to sign Kenneth Walker back. He was a key part to the Seahawks being Super Bowl champions, you know? And now it's going to be very hard to get Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs off the football field. If Mahomes comes back healthy with Patrick Mahomes and Kenneth Walker III together, it is going to be very hard to get that offense off the football field. You have too many weapons to prepare for. Travis Kelce thinking about coming back again. I mean, of course, he's not the young Travis Kelce he once was, but he still can get it done. Man, the Kansas City Chiefs is going to be very dangerous. Got to watch out and see how Patrick Mahomes comes back, man. If he comes back healthy and ready to play. If he comes back ready to sling that thing and he can run around and still create plays the way he has always, man, the Kansas City Chiefs is going to be pretty dangerous. But like I went out there on the limb right after the Super Bowl, right before the Seahawks decided they wasn't going to sign Kenneth Walker the third back. I said it's 90% chance the Seahawks will be in the Super Bowl and they be Super Bowl champs again, man. So I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with it, man. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. From what I've seen, from the way that team plays together, from on the defense and offense, yes, they lost their offensive coordinator. Yes, they lost their starting running back. Yes, things happen. But hey, man, we're gonna see how they go. But let's get this show started, man. Let's get this show started tonight, man. Like I said, Malik Willis to the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins have about, what is it, $100 million in dead cap space on 2 quarterbacks? And none of them proven yet. One is gone. And that's Tua Tagovailoa. We all know Tua Tagovailoa is no longer with the Miami Dolphins. And rightfully so. They got a new head coach. And it's right that the Miami Dolphins clean house. Miami Dolphins are cleaning the house. And it wasn't nothing else anybody else that decided to become the head coach for the Miami Dolphins could do but clean house because of the mess that former general manager Chris Grier left the Dolphins organization to deal with. It was nothing else you can do, starting with Tua Tagovailoa. And now, they traded Mika Fitzpatrick, and that was an awful trade in itself. So there's a lot of cleaning up that has to be done with the Miami Dolphins, and I think they're in the right hands. And all the right moves are being made so far from what I'm seeing, But in the past, they traded Jalen Ramsey away to the Steelers for Mika Fitzpatrick. And the entire time that trade was happening, I'm like, what sense does this trade make? And it's all I can tell from all I can sense and see from the things that was being said from Chris Grier and him coming up to the podium and basically saying, yeah, this team is what it is what it's going to be this season. All I can think, man, he was trying to sabotage the team or something. He hit a wall, and it was time for him to go, man. Because that trade right there in itself didn't make no sense. Jalen Ramsey, you give up Jalen Ramsey, a still athletic, explosive player, man, still can run very well for Mika Fitzpatrick, who just got traded for a 7th round pick to the New York Jets. Jalen Ramsey holds more value than the 7th round pick all day long. Unless I don't know what the scouts are evaluating. If they don't know how to evaluate talent, then maybe so. Maybe they say Jalen Ramsey isn't worth the 7th round pick. I disagree. And I'm sure a lot of people would disagree. Even, I don't know if this is an 8th, 9th, 10th season for Jalen Ramsey. Still, even at Jalen Ramsey's age right now, he still works 6th, 7th, 5th, 4th round pick, And but yeah, I like what the Dolphins are doing. They're making the right moves because you can't depend on the draft for too many positions in the NFL these days, especially the most important position, right? That's at quarterback. Talent at quarterback for NFL teams to pick from is at an all-time low. It's at an all-time low. And I'm going to go out there and say I was the first to say that the quarterback development in NFL was terrible, basically. People forgot how to develop quarterbacks in the NFL. I think I was the first one to go out there on a limb and say that, First round picks over the last, 3 to 4 seasons aren't panning out. Most of these quarterbacks are still getting paid regardless if they're on a team or not. They are still getting paid. And they aren't panning out. That's what the NFL has come down to. There isn't that much talent out there for teams to pick from at quarterback. It's a circus now. One team releases a quarterback, another team picks that quarterback up. And hopefully they can make that quarterback a better player in their system. Now you're going into the draft, man. It ain't making no sense. It's not making no sense. So here we are. Tua Tagovailoa joins group of veterans starting who will be available for only $1.3 million. Does that sound like a good deal for a guy like Tua Tagovailoa? Would you sign Tua Tagovailoa to be your quarterback for $1.3 million? I'm sure he can't be the starter. Is he worth the backup? I don't know, man. Depends on who you are and what your system is all about, I guess. You know what I mean? But it says, oh, man, this is very smart. Let me get a little close for y'all. It says, with the Cardinals owing Kyler Murray $36.8 million, the Raiders owing Geno Smith $18.5 million, and the Dolphins owing Tua Tagovailoa a whopping $54 million. Each could take a one-year deal for $1.3 million and stick their former teams with the balance. That's what Russell Wilson did 2 years ago after the Broncos released him. Denver owed Wilson $39 million. He took a one-year contract for the then veteran minimum of $1.21 million. That year, the Steelers ultimately paid the entire depth chart. Wilson, Justin Fields, Kyle Allen, less than former Pittsburgh backup Mason Rudolph got in Tennessee. Man, NFL is wild, man. One thing I can say, man, what a time to be alive if you made it to the NFL. If you're an NFL player, it is a wonderful time to be alive. Because regardless of how you are playing these days, if you can maintain the starting position until the end of your when your contract expires, you still can get paid. But for Tua, I want to know, does that mean that Tua Tagovailoa's career is coming to an end quickly? Is Tua's career coming to an end? Can he still maintain and compete for a job, maybe a backup position, the starting quarterback position? I don't know. He had a lot of favor playing for the Miami Dolphins. I don't know if any other team or any other coach is willing to give him all of that favor that he got from Mike McDaniels and Chris Greer when he was the general manager. I mean, Tua, he isn't a big guy. He isn't big enough to withstand the physical nature of the game week in and week out. I think that's kind of proven, But, in the NFL, there's always NFL rumors. And out of all the people who are rumored to pursue Tua Tagovailoa he has been released from the Miami Dolphins, can anyone guess? And I'm not saying the team. I want you to say the specific person. I don't want you to guess the team. Who is pursuing Tua Tagovailoa? I see somebody put ATL in the chat. ATL, yes, freaking Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski, boy, he sure know how to pick him. Homeboy loves a quick timing quarterback with a weak arm and limited abilities. That's what he loves. That's his typical quarterback right there. That's the quarterback that he identifies as a player, as the quarterback that can lead his team. Ain't that something? Out of all the quarterbacks that are available, you got Kyler Murray, you got possible Daniel Jones. I mean, who else? I mean, there are so many other quarterbacks. He wants to go after Tua Tagovailoa. I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons tried to bring in Dylan Gabriel as well, if he comes available and the Browns decide to release him, trade him, or whatever. You know what I mean? But I'm sorry, man. Atlanta Falcon fans, man, y'all are doomed, man. Kevin Stefanski is in charge, and he is there to make everything a shit show. That's his motto. He makes everything a shit show, man. But at the end of the day, with the Miami Dolphins, I couldn't agree more with these moves that the Miami Dolphins are making. And it's still early. Getting rid of the dead weight, and it's necessary. You got to get rid of the dead weight to move forward, to make some progress. And there was a lot of dead weight out there. There was a lot of dead weight left behind in Miami, man, from the previous people in charge. So hopefully Jeff Hafley comes there, man, comes down here and put this team together and get them where they need to be, man. But my prayers was answered, man. They signed Malik Willis. So we're gonna see what happens next. I think I might pop up in one of these days. Y'all to see me on with a Malik Willis jersey on, man. But yeah. Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the Dolphins, man. Shout out to the Miami Dolphins. Can they finally do some good? How we doing out there? Geno Smith is another one available, yeah. Geno Smith, I don't know, man. Geno Smith is so run down and looking so bad these days. It's hard for me to say this, but I probably would have to go with Tua Tagovailoa over Geno Smith these days. I mean, Geno Smith still could throw a pretty ball. I mean, he still, looks like he can get it done, but mentally, he just seems like he's all over the place during games and things like that, man. He's been through a lot in the NFL, and I think that, the team that he first was drafted to had a lot to do with Geno Smith and the way he's playing these days. And, just him, another one of those quarterbacks that didn't have the correct development, especially when it comes to being in the NFL. So, yeah, man, Geno Smith is another quarterback out there, and we're going to see how we're going to see how it plays out. But now, moving right along, man, we got cornerbacks signing big deals, man, and becoming the highest paid. This happens every free agency, man. If a top cornerback, a cornerback that made an all-pro doing his rookie deal or something to that extent, it seems like they automatically become the highest paid. It's just you fall in position. Timing is everything in the NFL, But how do we feel about the cornerback market with these cornerbacks getting paid? Right now, I think it's at $30 million per year, $35 million per year, after the Los Angeles Rams upgraded their secondary and traded for all-pro cornerback Trent McDuffie. He got paid. He reset the market. I think it was a 4-year, $124 million. Y'all do the math real quick in the chat. Y'all let me know. What is that? $30 million a year, 31, 35, 4-year, $124 million is what top corners in the NFL is worth these days. Now, the decision for the Rams to make this trade, in my opinion, had to come down to, is it worth taking a chance on a cornerback, on an unproven cornerback in the first round of the draft, or should they make a deal with a cornerback who's already proven and experienced? A cornerback that understands the game, been in these battles, and is established. That was the Los Angeles Rams thought process in making this trade, in my opinion. Also, you got Matthew Stafford. He doesn't have much longer to try and get another Super Bowl for the Los Angeles Rams. So they have to make decisions to win right now. They can't be depending on a cornerback in the first round, trying to develop him, make sure he understands the scheme, the plays, and things like that. Right? So, like I said, the thought process is to win now. But the cornerback market, how do I feel about the cornerback market? All right, man. Y'all zoom in with me, man. Right there, it says, I ain't see nobody put it in the chat. Somebody said $34 million a year. I think it was a little bit off. Little bit off. But maybe you're right. But it says right here, Trent McDuffie, he's the highest paid, $31 million a year. Then right underneath him, you have Sauce Gardner at $30 million a year. Derek Stingley Jr. at Sauce Gardner at $30.1 million a year. Derek Stingley Jr. at $30 million a year. J.C. Horn, $25 million a year. Jalen Ramsey, $24.1 million per year. Patrick Surtain II, $24 million a year. He's the 5th highest paid cornerback, and he's the defensive player of the year. So understand it's about timing, like I said. You know what I mean? And then you got Deron Bland, and AJ Terrell. So that is the cornerback market. That is the market for cornerbacks in the NFL. You ball out, you make all pro, make Pro Bowl. You hit the lottery, basically. You hit the lottery, you know? But me, myself, y'all know I'm a production guy. I love to see turnovers. I love to see cornerbacks get their hand on the football. And I'm a little perplexed when it comes to cornerbacks getting paid. Or should I say, I'm a little perplexed, you know. Or should I let me say this. Cornerbacks that create turnovers should be paid a premium. Right? If cornerbacks that fall in line automatically get paid and become the highest paid cornerback just because, you know, they established themselves, made an all-pro and things like that. Cornerbacks that create turnovers should be paid a premium. I just feel like there should always be a separation from, you know, cornerbacks that can get their hand on the football. Right? If they are going to make a cornerback the highest paid cornerback, or damn near highest paid defensive player, you know what I mean? And 9 times out of 10, it's usually because of that player being a first rounder or a second rounder and coming off his rookie deal. When his rookie deal is up, that's cool. Because teams usually base paying players off of their potential and what they can provide for this team in the future. Because the rookie deal, I mean, teams will pay that all day long until the 4th year, you know, the last year of that deal when the salary skyrockets. You know, sometimes it becomes necessary to give players an extension because the last year of a rookie deal could sometimes be $25 million, $30 million, some to that extent. So sometimes it's necessary to just sign that player to extension. You know what I mean? But cornerbacks that get their hands on the football more than others need to be paid a premium. That's just how I feel. Now, I like that players are getting paid. And obviously it's because, you know, players are getting a bigger percentage of the revenue because of the collective bargain agreement, you know, which is why you see these contracts growing and growing and growing. I don't know, man. One day, sometime soon, you may see a 5-year, 4-year, $500 million contract. Of course, we've seen Patrick Mahomes sign one, but it was a 10-year deal. But the NFL is a very established, well-ran, money-grabbing business. You understand? So if players, getting a part of the revenue, that is only going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And that's a good thing for players. You know, the owners can't have all the money. Yeah. You know? But yeah, man, premium. That premium. Players that get their hand on the football. Players, I don't like the accolades. I'm not a big fan of accolades and just because you won this award or, you know, you made all pro and Pro Bowl and things like that. I'm not talking about, you know, those type of separations. No, I'm talking about the actual facts, evidence, the actual statistics that you can look up. How many balls you got caught on you? How many times did you break the actual football up? How many interceptions did you have? You know, how many times did you disrupt the receiver from catching the football? Whatever analytics you can look up, metrics, whatever you need to, you know, to establish a difference in pay and give that cornerback that is making a difference, truly making a difference, that premium pay. That's how I feel. You know? But on the flip side, the bad part about coming off a rookie deal and signing a new contract, boy, as soon as you sign that new contract, teams immediately look to reduce the salary, trade, or cut players. It's like as soon as there are no more guarantees left on that deal, you're just another player. Soon as no more guarantees is left on that deal, now teams are looking how to deal you. What can they gain off of this player? Or is it just it's time to let this player go? Because the salary is too high and no one is willing to trade or give up a valuable pick for this player. So that's how it works in the NFL. most of the time when you see players get cut, or when you used to see players get cut, it would be because they no longer had any guarantees left on their deal. Now teams are forced to cut players even though they still are due millions and millions of dollars, like we just talked about. And, mostly these players are quarterbacks. And you have to give a quarterback certain contracts when they become a starting quarterback, But what a time to be in the NFL, man. What a time. But yeah, man, it's a young man's league, man. When players are young, they always have that value of what is your potential, and can always, as a owner, head coach, or someone, you can always look forward to thinking what this player can possibly do. And when you get to that age and you don't have that potential no more, it's already ran out. There's no more hope. It's one thing you always have to keep hope alive in the NFL. But yeah, man, this was a much needed move for the Los Angeles Rams, man. They needed to bolster their secondary. They needed to upgrade with the retirement of Darius Williams, and if they want to compete with the Super Bowl champs that's in their division, they want to be division champs, they definitely have to get the secondary intact. Like I said, Darius Williams, he was a big part of the Los Angeles Rams and that team that won the Super Bowl. And now they got Trent McDuffie, man. So we're going to see how they use him, see what he does, and see how can he contribute to this defense, man. So shout out to the Los Angeles Rams making moves, man, and sticking to the guns, man. And they didn't want to go into the draft. So they traded that draft pick along with some other picks that didn't really matter, meaning like they were 6th-round picks and 7th-round picks, and they went and got Trent McDuffie, and hopefully, it pans out. We'll see. Pans out for them. We'll see, because, I don't give a damn. I don't give a goddamn, man. How we doing out there, chat? All right, next segment of the night, man. Y'all know we have to talk about this boxing match, man. That is this fighting that got everybody riled up, everybody pumped up, man. Everybody wanted to see Logan Paul versus, I guess, is anyone, after he called everybody out. But let me tell you, man, I fell for the okie doke. I can't lie to y'all. I fell for the okie doke when Logan Paul made that statement, said he's ready to fight any football player. Logan Paul played me. I fell for the bait. I can't lie. I was all for it. I even said Logan Paul has a lot of heart. Boy, did I find out that was not true. After telling the world he could beat any football player in the boxing match, Logan Paul found a way to duck the smoke. And it is so obvious Logan Paul concocted a plan to make it seem as if he had the WWE call him to make sure he doesn't take the fight. That was terrible acting. That was a terrible concocted plan that they put together. I know it was a lot of pressure on him and he had to move fast. The internet and Twitter was taking over. So they was trying to do something very quick. And it looked it off. And what's so bad about that concocted plan that they tried to put together with Logan Paul waving the white flag? Because that's what it is at the end of the day. Logan Paul waved the white flag. He said, I bit off more than I can chew. And now I have to think twice about what I said. But it just so happened. Logan Paul gets a phone call from the WWE, his manager, someone representing the WWE, his agent, whoever he wants it to be. He all of a sudden getting a call while he's recording content, and then it was perfect timing that he can show the world that he's on the phone. I guess with the boss man. telling him that he can't take this fight. It's in his contract. Man, I'm telling you, I guess I was wrong, man. I was hyping them up, showing them boys love. I guess I was wrong. I guess I was wrong.
What's up, Chris?
There's a big time call.
Stop. Why? Can I ask why?
Well, I mean, one, we don't want you to get injured.
Bro, I'm not gonna get injured. These guys can't box.
I know, but it's just unnecessary risk. Like, you don't know if you slip, you fall. I mean, we don't want to risk any
No, Chris.
I get it. I know you're not. We appreciate all the hype, right? Like, we get you're doing your thing. That's great. But, like, we can't have you box. You're full-time WWE.
Chris! It's not, bro, it's not. Dude, these guys cannot box. They're football players. There's no risk.
I'm glad you feel that way. That's why you are who you are. But we are trying to eliminate that risk and look out for you. WrestleMania, we cannot be doing about
What a great actor he is.
Oh, man. Right? Is there any way I can convince you? What if I cut you guys, what if I cut the WWE in on my winnings? Because I'm going to make $2 million in a weekend.
We're good. We're good on the money.
We're good.
We just would prefer you not to be boxing.
Hey, my loyalty's with the WWE. I'm a good independent contractor, brother. Whatever you guys need. And if you need me to shut it down, I'll do it.
See you Monday.
All right, see you Monday, Chris. Bosses ain't happy. Shit.
I got myself into a situation.
At the end of the day, I'm a WWE superstar, and my loyalty is with the WWE. If I do not have their blessing to do some extracurricular activities that are unrelated to the WWE, like boxing, as much as I would love to do it, I gotta honor my job and my commitment to my profession. I understand the perspective. I obviously don't like it. I spent like 5 to 10K drafting the contract. That sucks, bro. Bro, I had it drawn up. Oh no!
Again, man.
Fuck.
Bro, that's terrible. That's terrible. That's terrible. He really went through all that to try to prove that he wasn't a sucker. Man, he bit off more than he could chew, and then he realized, man, a lot of people was ready to put belt to ass, man. And I gave the Paul brothers, I gave them too much credit. I'm saying not the Paul brothers. I gave Logan Paul too much credit. I said he had a lot of heart. I thought he was courageous. I looked at Logan Paul like he was an aggressive dog. Now, I ain't going to say that I've done a lot of homework on him and I'm very familiar with him, but from the things that I know that, he's very extreme. They not really scared to try a lot of different things. You know what I mean? I thought Logan Paul was an aggressive dog, but turned out he is a little poodle, especially once players told him to send that contract. This man said he spent $5K on drafting up contracts. This is the worst acting job I've seen on Twitter, on social media. That was terrible. And then how everything just played out. He had his speech ready. He was ready to say what needs to be said in his terms, not the real say what needs to be said. But yeah, man, he got the call. I mean, he hung up. I love WWE. I'm a subcontractor. My loyalty is to the WWE. And as soon as he hung up, he had the perfect speech. He knew exactly what to tell everybody. And thought we was going to fall for it. That was just the worst acting job. But shout out to Logan Paul's brother, Jake Paul. I respect Jake Paul. Jake Paul definitely has heart. He has a lot more heart than his brother. And Jake Paul, man, he got in the ring with Anthony Joshua, man, and he paid the price. But at the end of the day, I think that situation just came about. And Jake Paul didn't have no other choice. He was either going to back down or not take the fight and miss out on a bunch of money because the situation with Gervonta Davis, or he had to show that he had heart and step in there with Anthony Joshua. And he did that, but he paid the price, And yeah, man, like I said, I always thought both brothers was courageous. But Jake Paul, man, he didn't read the room correctly, man, when he thought it was a good idea to challenge NFL players to a fight, a boxing match, you know. And one thing you can't do, man, you cannot play boxing. It's not a game. But if Logan Paul, if you really want to prove you didn't back down to fight Le'Veon Bell, then show the contract. That's all you have to do. You don't have to go through all of that acting, manipulating, concocting stories, trying to get everybody to go along with the game. Just avoid all of that. Just show the contract. Show the details in the contract where it stipulates that Logan Paul, a subcontractor, whatever you want to call yourself, with the WWE cannot participate in any extracurricular activities such as boxing, swimming, extreme sports. Show us. Just show us. That's all you have to do. Prove to everyone you didn't chicken shit out of this fight after you thought it was cute to call out football players. Even if there are stipulations in the contract, Logan Paul should have 100% understood that those stipulations was in the contract. And he should have never thought it was cool to call out football players and be a loudmouth. Yeah, he could call out Gronkowski. Excuse me for messing up his name. Yeah, you can call out Gronkowski. You can call out Tom Brady. Yeah, because they're not going to react how some of these aggressive dogs out here going to act. You know what I mean? And then you put money on the line. You know, people love to gamble. People love to bet on themselves. You know? And like I said, if those stipulations are in the contract, he has that much confidence in himself, then he should fight anyway. He shouldn't worry about being hurt or getting hurt because he's that good of a fighter. He understands that he's not going to get hurt. He knows how to protect himself. He knows how to move. He ain't going to slip. You know, nothing's going to happen. That contract shouldn't have mattered like that. Either you can box or you can't box. And Le'Veon Bell is like, man, forget the entire professional fight thing and the whole event. He's just like, man, set up a sparring match. You want to spar. You want to put them paws on you. You understand what I'm saying? And I think it's only fair, man. I think it's only fair that Logan Paul should have stood on business, man, after being loud and proud about. You know, one thing about people, man, that I learned in this world, football is the alpha of all sports, right? And it's the one sport that everyone wants to challenge football players or players in. Is the game of football. They want to challenge us physically. They want to challenge us in speed, just all different ways. Because I guess you know, football is one of those. It's a challenging sport, man, and I guess it symbolizes, you know, the aggressive nature of what a man's supposed to be, you know? And the game of football, you know, helps men out in so many different ways. But yeah, I think the people that didn't or wasn't able to make it and play football, some men just totally missed football. They totally regret. I mean, Little League, high school, college, they wasn't able to play football anywhere. And they just totally regret it and are mad about it. You know, that now that they're in their older age and stuff like that. Let me give me some water, man. Let me give me some water. And shout out to the chat out there, man. Shout out to the chat. What we got here, man? What we got, man? Jeff Bone, man. Shout out to the Bone. The Bone, what's crazy is the majority of NFL players, current or retired, know how to fight. A.J. Brown is a Golden Gloves, if I'm not mistaken. Oh man, that is news to me. Yes, man, that's what I'm trying to say, man. And man, NFL players that's currently in the NFL making a bunch of money really have stipulations in their contract, right? And of course, Logan Paul and a lot of other people probably understood that. And so, like I said, he thought it was cute. He thought he read the room correctly, and he thought he can call out football players and not have a rebuttal, you know? And he got what he was asking for. He had to back down, man. That is crazy. I can't believe that I actually fell for it. And I thought that he was going to step up to the plate and fight Le'Veon Bell, Breeden Fehoko. Sorry about that. Butchered his name, man. But yeah, he got a gym out there in Puerto Rico. Like you said, I'll fly you out. You know? That was the things that fooled me. He said he had his own gym. I know his brother Jake Paul is a fighter. So I'm thinking they out there actually training to fight. Kill or be killed type fight. Man, they out there training for WWE. They out there training in Puerto Rico for entertainment purposes only. That is what's going on. That's what's really happening. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, like I said, is Logan Paul wants to prove that he didn't back down from this fight, and he's scared to stand on business, and he wasn't scared to throw them hands. Then show the contract. That's all you have to do. You don't have to go through all of that, making up videos, making sure your manager, agent call you at a specific time on speaker to tell you while you're recording that you can't fight. You ain't have to go through all of that. Next time, just don't talk about football players. Challenge the baseball players or something like that. I bet none of them probably. I don't think any of them will try to challenge him back. So, yeah, man. But that's all we got for tonight, man. Shout out to the chat, man. Shout out to the bone in the house, man. The bone in the house, man. And yeah, man. I want to find out if AJ Brown was a Golden Glove. That'd be very interesting to me. You know, the first sport I ever did, and the first place my mother ever dropped me off to was the boxing gym. I was just thinking about that, talking with one of my homeboys today. That was the first sport I ever did. My mom and dad divorced when I was like 5 years old. And I guess my mom was from Mississippi, so she wasn't from South Florida. So now that I'm older, I realized what she was trying to do. And I only had a sister. We didn't have, I was the only male figure in the house. So she was just trying to figure out what to do with me to keep me, I guess, on the right track, make sure I don't steer the wrong way. So first place she did was drop me off to the boxing gym. And I remember going to that boxing gym. I remember meeting Muhammad Ali. I remember shaking his hand. I remember being so happy and saying I'm never going to wash my hand and things like that. But that's why I got my boxing skills from. If y'all follow me on Twitter, man, y'all see I could throw them a little bit. And then she took me to the football, to the park, to the stadium and things like that, and played football. Then I quit football one year because I wanted to be a ninja. I done probably told y'all already. Quit football one year because I watched Bruce Lee every Sunday. Whatever ninjas and karate people was on the channel at that time. It came on every Sunday. And I was inspired to be a ninja. So did that for a year. Then she convinced me to come back to football. And that was all she wrote after that, man. So, yeah, man. Logan Paul, man. I guess we have to go back to watching him on Monday. I guess he's on WWE on Mondays. I don't know. But next time, man, just chill on that. But that's what we got Monday night, man. Monday night vibes. And we're going to see y'all on Thursday night, man. And we're going to see what other free agents get signed to, what teams make some pretty good free agent signings coming up here. If I missed anything while we was on this live, man. So, yeah, man, y'all follow me on Twitter. Y'all follow me on Instagram. Oh, y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, man. I always forget to tell y'all the hype, the like, comment, subscribe. Make sure y'all send me some hype. I don't know what is a hype button. Send me some hypes. Hype me up. all that good stuff. But I appreciate y'all, man, and I'm gonna see y'all next time. It's Mr. Pick 6. It's Monday Night Vibes, and this say what needs to be said. And I'm up out of this thing.